Hello, my name's Julian Hartley, Chief Executive of the University Hospital of South Manchester. I'm being asked to talk about the subject of bouncebackability, if that's a word, bouncing back. I suppose my story is that just to go back a few months, I was cycling home from here, from Wythenshawe Hospital, and I was on a main road and cycling past a junction when a car pulled out, straight out into me, knocked me off the bike. I flew over the handlebars, hit the ground head first, broke my neck, broke my arm, and was lying on the ground wondering what on earth had happened. And then, to cut a long story short, and ended up coming to here, back to Wythenshawe, in an ambulance, then transferred to Salford Royal, to the spinal unit. I'd fractured C6 and C7 in my neck. I'd had a major fracture of my arm. My left humerus was shattered into 6 pieces. So 10 hours of in theatre, which was amazing, fantastic skill and effectiveness of everyone that looked after me. But ultimately spent about a week in Salford, some of it on high dependency, neuro high dependency unit, and was in a bit of a mess. But I had my neck fixed, had my arm fixed, but then I had 3 months off work rehabilitating. And I suppose what this is about is the experience of having to return to work after a pretty traumatic event, and what that means in terms of getting back to where you were physically, mentally. And given the pressures we work under in the NHS at the moment, given the scale of the financial challenges, the organisational challenges, the major changes in the commissioning landscape, all of that had taken place. Actually, a lot of that had happened during the time I was off. So coming back to a very, very intense environment and having to get back into that rapidly was really challenging, and still is. I'm still having physio. I'm still recovering, rehabilitating. But I suppose it's some reflections I have was, first of all, the National Health Service is absolutely there when you need it. It's a fantastic service. It deals with, particularly with trauma care, in a superb way, and I think my faith has been redoubled in the NHS as a consequence of my own experience. And the commitment of the people that work in it is amazing. And it reminded me as well, I think, of looking at things from the patient's perspective. And having experienced life as a patient, there are many things that I'm looking at here in University Hospital of South Manchester to think about what we can improve and develop as a consequence of experiencing things firsthand. But fundamentally, we are there for people at their most vulnerable, at the crisis times in their lives. And then, of course, there's a process of rebuilding and recovery, and that, I think, is something that I've got a stronger appreciation for everyone who, we all have moments in our lives which are difficult, crisis points, and the importance of being able to bounce back or recover, re-enter the workplace isn't to be underestimated in terms of rebuilding your confidence, your agility, mentally, your resilience. All of those things are important, and I think it's vital to be very open about accessing all the support networks necessary. As leaders in the healthcare system, being very open about saying you are still recovering, that that you're receiving support, that because I think we have to be honest about it. It's impossible just to come back straight back in without any obvious deficits. It takes time to recover that. So I think it's a really important lesson to me. I've learnt a huge amount about the NHS, about being a patient, about myself, and being back into it now in an environment that is very, very fast-moving, very pressurised and very demanding. The importance of networks, of peer support, of your own occupational health team, of accessing all of those things is really, really important. And I'm very grateful that the NHS has been able to provide me with all of that. But also I think it's important to perhaps open up about these experiences, share them, and start to reflect on how we as NHS leaders are able to think about the human factors in leadership, particularly in relation to managing adversity. And I claim no special wisdom or insight to this, simply that I've had a pretty traumatic event and I'm trying to get myself back into it, and it's challenging, but I think it's something that is worthy of further reflection, discussion, review, and I think be very interested in other colleagues' views, thoughts, experiences to help develop this this particular line of inquiry in terms of leadership, about how you come back from difficult times and traumatic events. All of us may have experienced those, and I think it's important perhaps that we talk about them, understand them and learn from them, and build up some knowledge, good practice, evidence about what works. So I think that's it for now. Thank you for listening.